A very good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Hi, I'm Saiful. I'm from Puchong. I'm speaking to you this World Speech Day. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thanks Victor Ong and the team for the CV Plus for inviting me to speak today via video and to share with you my experience or maybe my thought regarding speech. Speech is a communication between two ways, meaning there's an input and output, and how to make the speech more effective. Under my, with my observation as a speaker and as a Toastmaster, I understand it as speaking you have three main components. One, this the speech must be understandable. The audience must be able to understand what you are talking about. So the speech must have a good speed, a good intonation, and must be clear. You do not use long word or long paragraph when you speak, because we are as a human we just like to speak it in a short sentence, and it make it easier and make it much more understandable. So that's the first one regarding understandable. Number two is regarding memorable. Memorable. Memorable lah. The speech must be able to trigger memory or trigger something that you want to remember about the speech itself. So if you want to do a good speech, it must be able to trigger our senses, not just our audio senses. It must be also to see our visual senses. For visual itself, the hand gesture, when you talking about that, when you're talking about round, our facial expression, when you're angry, when you're happy, when you try to think or try to pause, they create suspense. And also the sentence you are using that can trigger memory. For example, I'm talking about your childhood. I'm talking about my childhood. Maybe can relate to your side. So that is called memorable. So people can memorize that. People can remember what you are talking about. And because it is simple, it is much easier to memorize to anything when it involves more than two senses, not just the audio. It could be audio and visual plus the feeling. So you have three. So all the speeches will be much more memorable. And the last one, what we call here, is repeatable. Repeatable is kind of hard. Where you have to come out with a sentence, with a quote or the phrase that is easier to be repeat and people can remember it. For example, make it very simple. Like myself, I'm a formulator of drug, not really drug, of cosmetic and uh, traditional medicine. So how to make it memorable? So I create a phrase is called tukang bancuh ubat, which is very rare. Tukang bancuh ubat is a Malay term, or in the English term, there's an old, very old term, English we call it a formulator. We the one who mixing the drugs or the medication for people. So in your speech, it must have that kind of something that can be repeatable. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to have your good speech to be to be something special, just based on this three things, it must be understandable. Number two, it must be memorable. Number three, it must be repeatable. Just remember that. UMR. Understandable, memorable, and repeatable. I'm using this formula. I just discovered about this formula, but I'm using this formula in my speech in the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, back to you. And of course, thanks Victor Ong for inviting me to talk today. And hopefully, we can hear you again. You can hear from me again later. Thank you. Bye.